the dark. Early basketball practice, so I gotta get up early, get myself organized. To all the Cyclopses that are in the building, Andy Al-Katani, the Spice Man, the Spice of Life, one of our major supporters, God bless you. And to all of our supporters, Earth, Wind, Fire, Spirit, all of our members, bless you. Listen, this is day 4. I call it the war to end all wars, Hamas versus Israel. This is the reason I call it that is because this, by the end of this, the region is going to be, I think, forever changed. Clearly, what is still taking place is 2 things. Israel Defense Forces are still finding dead bodies of dead Israelis along the Gaza Strip, the settlements on the side of Israel, on the Gaza Strip. Let's say the Hebrew side. They're finding dead bodies. People are still showing up dead. They're now saying that there was about 1,500 Hamas militants who made their incursion. And what's happening on the other side of that, Israel has displaced about 186,000 people with a massive bomb attack to essentially settlements, residential settlements in Gaza. There is no safe place in Gaza. There is no good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. There is no safe place in Gaza. There is no place to hide. There is no place that is safe. People have moved from building to building to building to building, telling people they've been told in advance this building's not going to be safe. We believe militants are there. We're going to give you time to leave. They had to move. They had to do that multiple times, and they've been bombed, even in the places that were told to be safe. And this is why. And I'm going to give you about 3 reasons. Number 1, Hamas militants are hiding amongst Palestinian residents. Number 2, Israel does not care. They're going to level the place. And number 3, a combination of both. Because what still is happening is there are still missiles being fired from the Gaza side, from Hamas, over into settlements in West Jerusalem. There are still, how are you, Napster? What's going on? Shiloh fam is in the building. Listen, they're still firing missiles. Missiles are still coming towards West Jerusalem. The Iron Dome is stopping most of them, but there's still, this thing is not over from the place of Hamas. This thing didn't just stop on Saturday. And Israel is clearly just trying to pound out the region. Okay? Soldiers are still showing up. There is a lot of confusion. There is even, I'm being told, sometimes friendly fire because the new Israeli reservists don't always know who each other are, and sometimes you have friendly fire going back and forth. So there's a lot of confusion happening on that side. Now, politically, again, from what I'm understanding, is Netanyahu is taking great advantage politically of the situation. He's trying to form a coalition government with the opposition, of course, leaving himself in firm control. He wants to form a war council, which is appropriate, which is actually very good politics. You bring your opposition to sit down and say, hey, when this is over, you're not going to be able to point to me and tell me that I committed war crimes, because I'm going to level the place. You're going to be able to say you sat on the war council and everything we did, you had to co-sign. And if you don't co-sign it, you're going to look like an individual who's weak and not able to do things in times of action. And for the most part, that coalition government is going to be formed. That if it's temporary, fine, but it's definitely going to be formed. And Israelis are going to give Netanyahu full power to do just about anything he wants in that region. And yeah, some of the moderates are very concerned about these right-wingers, Israel right-wingers, who are sitting there with their mentalities and what they plan to do. Absolutely. But at this point, you can't be worried about the fact that you've got a mean bully on your side, who's on your side. They're going to unleash those guys. They're going to unleash the beast. And Netanyahu has guys there who are, they're warmongers. They know what they're doing, and they're going to go do what they got to do. And what they're going to do people are holding their breath because, listen, Israel hasn't even invaded the place yet, totally. They're not going to because they're still concerned about ground fighting. They're still concerned about that, and they're still gonna batter it from the sky. Apparently Hamas, and the only safe place to be, I'll finish my sentence, apparently Hamas militants are realizing you can't stay in Gaza. You have to be inside of Jerusalem. You have to be in Israel. You have to be, and so they're making incursions into Israel because if you're gonna blow stuff up where we are, well, we're gonna be in your child's bedroom. We're gonna be in your mama's house. You want to blow us up? You gotta blow us up in your own school. You gotta blow us up in your own hospitals. That's where we're gonna be. And apparently that's what's happening. They're not in Gaza anymore. And if they are in Gaza, they've leveled most of Gaza. Gaza is on fire. That's a place that's going to become something else. Okay, it's going to become something else. But the 2.3 million Palestinians that are residents there, I don't know what's going to happen to those folks because, like I said, they got nowhere to go. They're backed up against Egypt. Maybe they can go in that direction, and because even that potential border has been bombed. Israel's not leaving anything unturned. They're bombing everywhere. And they better not make the mistake of accidentally bombing Egypt, because we know there's no love lost there. And that's the worst thing that they could do, is to accidentally bomb Egypt, and then Egypt says, listen, oh really? We're gonna come help out our brothers over there too. So it's a very, very difficult situation. And for those who might not know this, and this might be relevant information to you, please understand that there is a lot of Palestinian Christians, a lot of Palestinian Christians. Please understand that there potentially are Palestinian Hebrews who are potentially married to I'll call them Palestinian Jews who are married to Ashkenazi. So this thing is not as easy as you think it is over there. So, but at the end of the day, the Gaza Strip is going to be a ghost town. It's already a ghost town. People are not going outside. They can't go outside. They don't dare go outside. And I'm waiting for Israel's invasion. Now, this is my theory. The world has a very short temperament for war. The world in general. And people are going to start realizing, I'm not going to say realizing, I'm going to say saying. People are going to start saying that Israel is being heavy-handed, right? Because, I mean, there's always two sides to the story, right? Three sides. Their side, and God's side. But people are going to say Israel's being heavy-handed. They're bombing civilians. That's what they're going to say. And it's really difficult when you're fighting individuals who are insurgency and rebels and militants. They're not walking around in a uniform with a target on them saying, I'm Hamas, I'm a Hamas militant. You don't know who a Hamas militant is. You have no idea. Similar to the Viet Cong situation. You don't know which one of these guys is an actual soldier for the opposition. You have no idea. So they're going to be bombing places where regular folks live, period. I've heard some people have lost 8 members of their family. One guy, he said, lost 8 members of his family plus his pregnant wife. Well, what does that guy become immediately? He becomes a Hamas soldier. You kill 8 members of my family and my pregnant wife. Even if I didn't have a problem with you, I have a problem with you right away. And so you can't just bomb this thing and expect people just to chill out. They're not. They're going to say, okay, I'm ready. What do I have to do? Give me something. I'm not taking that. And so nobody's going to, on the side of Israel, I don't think they're going to leave these people viable for another strike, another scenario. They're going to wipe. They said, we've declared war and we're going to wipe you out. We don't care if you're a government. We don't care if you're a so-called independent sovereign nation. You're not going to be an independent sovereign nation anymore. You're our guests and you're evicted. And listen, people have said it, nations have said it, Iran has said it. We want to wipe Israel off the planet, and off the globe. They know that. Israel knows that. So they're saying, you know what? We're going to beat you to it. You started it, we're going to finish it. And we're going to finish it in a final way. Unless the world steps in, unless other nations step in, and they will. Other nations are not going to just let Israel simply, for the next how many ever days, completely obliterate Gaza. 2 million people, right? Where are those 2 million people going to go? Unless Egypt opens up their borders and lets those people flee, there's nowhere for them to go. They can't go anywhere. There's nowhere for any of them to go. And when that ground invasion happens, it's going to be a bloodbath. Something stinks to high atmosphere. Hey, well, brother, it's very interesting that Netanyahu was going through all this trouble, and now he's basically going to be. I said this yesterday on my other cast last night. He's going to be in a very pretty position because opposition. They're not fighting him. They're going to sit down and form a coalition government of their choosing. And Netanyahu nothing's ever going to come up about that guy again. You're never going to hear a word. Not a word. And when you activate that level of military, trust me, a lot of people get wiped out. You want to get rid of your enemies in the house? That's a great time to do it. Before this thing is over, make sure you kill those guys too. Before this thing is over, people are like, oh, that sounds very shady. No, that's not. That's a Jewish behavior. That's a Jewish behavior. David, at one time, the king, great King David, at one time, he had to flee. He had to flee from his son, Absalom. Absalom was the apple of his eye. One thing he told Joab and his brother, listen, somehow, don't kill Absalom. Just like, he's my son, don't kill him. Joab didn't listen to that. Joab said, I don't know what this guy's talking about. I'm going to kill his child. His child's trying to kill us. That's part one. David, when he was leaving, and the mighty men, when they were leaving, a guy by the name of Shemi, a Benjamite, was throwing rocks, cussing them, saying it serves him right. You deserve it. Good for you. When David came back, Shemi came to him saying, oh, King, please don't hold these things against me. I apologize. David said, don't worry, Shemi. I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to kill you. And he held on to that promise for his entire life. But before he gave up the ghost, he whispered into Solomon's ear, you're a wise man. You make sure that guy does not go to his grave with a gray head. Find a way to kill him. Hey, that's Jewish history, my friend. Netanyahu is a smart man. While they have declared military war, some of his domestic enemies will disappear too. You heard it here first. Not all those guys are making it out of this alive. So some of those guys sitting on that same war council better be careful. You better be careful, my friend, because by the end of it, there will be no one who opposes Benjamin Netanyahu by the end of this. How does Dimona fit into this? That's what I've been trying to think. Yesterday I said very clearly, I said, listen, stay clear of those politics. Stay clear of that. Don't even have a word to say. My beloved Dimonaites and the Black Hebrews, that's not your fight. You sit right there in Dimona and let those people deal with their own situation. Call your sons and daughters home. Sit right there. You should never have taken that citizenship. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have, really. You shouldn't have, because it didn't mean anything to them. Your children went and fought in wars. Your children went and be served in armies, and they still want to send y'all home. Y'all sit right there and wait. Wait that out. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna try to have a live show with Sarah. We talked earlier, and if he's here, if he's listening to me, I would love to have a live show with you and see your perspective on that. Mine is, don't lift a muscle. Don't lift a muscle. Let them fight that thing out themselves. Because at the end of the day, they wouldn't fight for y'all. Period. And I hope and pray that nothing has attached itself or affected you. All of those settlements that the Black Hebrews are in, Dimona and others, I truly hope nothing has affected you. I hope you're safe, and our prayers are with you. Our prayers are with you, period. So I really hope you're safe. But my brother here is saying that something stinks to high heaven. How on Yah's green earth did Israel not know this would happen? Have you noticed the dollars was about to collapse, but now it is starting to gain traction? Listen, that's what they're saying about Netanyahu right now. They're saying, Netanyahu, this was incredible. You were asleep at the wheel, bro. How did this security and intelligence not know these dudes were coming, if not even planning this? Like, how do you not know this? And it's hard, you know. You think you're dealing with some unsophisticated dudes out there? No, man. Hamas is a force to be reckoned with as far as strategy. That is very clear now. That's a force to be reckoned with. You don't play with them. You don't play with them. Israel was asleep at the wheel for sure, and that's on Netanyahu's shoulders. How is security intelligence, been so lapse that 1,500 of these guys walked in and took out the border, and nothing happened? Where was the army? Where was the drones? Where was the satellites? Where's all this $6 billion of American money that you guys are using up to build your war machine? Where the heck was that? Like, what's going on? And that's going to be a good question to answer. And so my brother thinks that I don't put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you're saying that they let him in. This is good. It's going to be great. Now, you guys come in here and start your little trouble. We're going to declare war, and I'm going to be the emperor by the end of this thing. I mean, that sounds extremely. That's a heck of a conspiracy theory. I'm not going to necessarily put my rubber stamp on that, but it does sound very weird that that could happen. Like, those guys could just simply do that. That all these soldiers are not there. Very, very poorly staffed. But again, it speaks to strategy. It speaks to Hamas's strategy and their knowledge of the culture. So, but again, this is day 4. I think by the end of the week, Hamas is going to have to either surrender, or there's going to be a full ground invasion. They're going to tell the Palestinians, you're going to have to leave Gaza. Every Palestinian, get out of Gaza. We're coming through, and we're considering anything that we see there a militant. We're mowing the place down. We will have no mercy. And I think that's going to happen by Friday, because the world is not going to allow Israel to beat these people up on Main Street for 2 more weeks. It's not going to be. I don't think that's going to happen. You're going to have too much criticism, and it's going to shift. There's enough anti-Israeli sentiment in the world that they're not going to give them a whole lot of time, right? And then the next conversation, it's already started. Many people on this channel have said it. Is that, are these chickens coming home to roost for the Israeli and their behavior? Is this something that is God punishing them? Like, oh, that's going to start. That's going to start. And so any good politician knows you don't have a long time for this, because there's so much anti-Israel propaganda that a couple of mothers screaming out and holding up their children, their dead children, they're going to say all Israel is doing is out there killing mothers and children. That's all they're doing now. Hamas fighters are gone, and all they're doing is killing innocents. And they already started that. The killing innocents is what many of the Palestinians are saying. This is revenge. We are peaceful people over here. We have nothing to do with Hamas. They know we have nothing to do with Hamas. Why would they be shooting up and blowing up residential buildings? There's nothing over here. Why are they doing it? And that's going to start. And you have enough stations like what's it called? Al Jazeera and BBC and everything else that's going to be like, hey, let's send our people over there. Let's have a forensic analysis of what's happening. Hamas spokesmen are speaking up and they're saying, hey, don't talk to us. Don't talk to us about why this happened. Talk to us about, or don't talk to us about how do we tolerate the killing of thousands of Israeli. Tell us, let's start the conversation. He goes, he said, I heard a guy say last night, I wish I got his name in my head. He says, you're asking the wrong question. Ask this question. How many Palestinians have been killed before this? Ask those questions. That Gaza Strip is an open prison. It's an open air prison. And ask the question like that. Ask those questions. And then you'll know why we have to do what we have to do. If you were imprisoned, if you were being killed by the thousands, then wouldn't you respond? And so this perspective, trust me, is going to get its day in court, because there's so much anti-Israel sentiment that people are going to sit back and say, I want to hear what the Palestinians have to say. Sounds good to me. Yep. And everything. So as a politician, you don't got a lot of time. You've got to quiet down even the people who are going to speak. You've got to shut everybody's mouth, and Israel better finish this in 2 days. Or if they don't, trust me, all of their allies are going to shift. And you're going to get a lot of Palestinian support. You're going to get people who are marching for remember, people love Palestine. People in the West love Palestine. They love to wear their scarves, and they love to carry on about Palestine. Even you have a lot of black groups that identify with Palestine. So you're going to have a lot to answer for, Netanyahu, if you don't hurry up and get the job done in respect to essentially creating a Gaza Strip that is no longer Palestinian occupied. And I don't know how you're going to do that with 2 million people hanging around. I don't know how you're going to do it. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, there's at least 250,000 people. It's 186,000 is what I heard. But I don't know how people get those numbers, but it's a lot of people. That's a heck of a lot of people who've been displaced. I'm not saying killed, but displaced. And then the rescue attempts and the hospitals for people who are simply lying down under rubble right now and can't be removed. And it's not like Hamas or individuals are helping. It's not like Israeli soldiers are helping dig people out who buildings have fallen on top of them. It's not a lot of that's going on. So I can't even imagine. They're going to level that place, and then they're going to pick up the pieces. And I can bet your bottom dollar they're going to try to get every Palestinian out of Israel. I mean, Israel's been trying to kick people out forever, right? They've been trying their best to kick people out forever. The fact that the bottom line is, people are not leaving. They have nowhere to go, or they're just simply not leaving. And the gentleman who he was saying that this is not the fault of the Palestinian. This is the fault of the British government. The British government creating a fake state in 1917, creating a fake state in 1948, and giving Ashkenazi Palestinian land. This is what this gentleman was saying. So this is your fault. You've created this problem. You made these people come and take our land. You've empowered them to be the most powerful nation in the region, and left us in a position where our enemies have taken our land and have been now reinforced by American and British warfare agents, NATO, right? This is what he said. And this is historical facts, right? And this is what the Christian and the Hebrew believe. A nation shall be built in one day, in respect to 1948. But people who don't know that biblical history just say, why would that happen? That doesn't seem fair. And the conversations will start in a very liberal world that is non-biblical, that doesn't follow the pathways of biblical prophecy. They will say, how is it that this place all of a sudden, thousands of years later, became called Israel when it hasn't been Israel since the Babylonian Empire? And these conversations are going to happen. Trust me. And you're going to have a whole lot of things coming down the pike that are anti-Israeli sentiment if this thing doesn't stop in a couple of days. And Jews all over the world know this. Jews all over the world know that it doesn't take long for people to turn on Israel. It doesn't take long. Biden is showing his he's doing his dance right now. Oh, we support Israel. We support Israel. We're 100% behind Israel. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what he'll say in 2 weeks when they're still bombing the crap out of places that have women and children, and the world is saying that. All this for what? Yeah, all this for what? When I don't know. And Biden is a politician up for re-election. How long is he going to sit there and support a scenario where Hamas is a villain that's hard to see? It's really hard it's going to be hard to see Hamas. Everybody sees Hamas now. Oh my gosh, all these people killed. It's easy to see Hamas now. It's easy to see Hamas when you're still picking up dead bodies from Israelis. It's easy to see Hamas. But ultimately, Hamas is not going to be what's in the media. It's going to be dead women and children. That's what the media is going to cover. The media is going to say, when is Israel going to say enough is enough? All that's going to happen. So we'll see. We shall see. Netanyahu and his war council, I don't know how fast they're going to put that together, if it's already put together, if the ink's already on that, I don't know. Because of course we're getting information late. We're not getting it on time. And let's be honest, there's no level of intelligence agency in the world like the Mossad, like what Israel has. So the information that they get is stuff that many of us or many nations are never going to know. And the stuff they can say, hey, we believe that building contained, one of the central places of the Hamas insurgency, and we had to level it. And yeah, there was innocents in the building, but Hamas has to stop hiding behind Palestinians. And that's it. That's it. And it's already being said. Hamas to stop hiding behind Palestinians. Stop using young, innocent women and children as shields. That's going to happen. That sentiment's going to happen too. So trust me, there's no love lost on either side, and there's no narrative or rhetoric lost on either side. You're going to hear it all. You're going to hear it all, and it's going to be stuff that books and documentaries are written up for many, 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 many years to come. It's cool. Day 4, will this be longer than the 6-day war? It better not be, but if it is, it's not going to bode well for Israel, in my opinion. And the place is too doggone small to even need to have to go to that length, to me. So that's my time. That's my statements. 28 minutes. Day 4. I'm probably going to come back if we hear anything more. I think we should be expecting in the next 24 hours a military incursion. Because apparently soldiers are showing up in the region. People are bringing them food. They're driving into the region. They're being dropped into the region. I guess they can't fly them in with the whole concept of the Iron Dome. I'm sure that Iron Dome is shooting anything in the sky, period. So they're going to probably have to come in by ground so that the Iron Dome can still blast anything that's in the sky. Not sure how that works, of course, but kind of would make sense that people are going to be driven in. So that's apparently what's happened. There's a lot of Israeli soldiers that are driving in to the region, and they're going to put a siege on them. You put a siege on, which is now, the place is under siege, meaning nobody comes in and nobody comes out. We're going to blast you, and then we're going to come out and see what's left. That's normal. That's warfare. So there should be an invasion happening in the next few days, if not sooner, and it should be a heck of a lot of Israeli soldiers that are coming in there to do that. So let's see what happens. Iran in southeast, Lebanon in the north. Yeah. And hopefully they open their borders to Palestinian refugees, right? Because people don't want that. People talk, but they don't want that smoke. 2 million Palestinians coming into your country. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they can handle that. I don't know if that they're up for that. And that's the research I'm going to do. Has Lebanon opened their borders? I said Egypt earlier. Have they opened their borders? And Iran's got enough problems. So that's going to be a very interesting conversation. Where are those people going to go? And it's going to take some nation to fly them out. And I'll tell you right now, Canada better not open up their mouths and say, oh, we're going to come and fly the Palestinians out. You're going to come fly Hamas rebels into Canada and settle them here. Oh my gosh. Because that's what will happen. So it's going to be very difficult for individuals to go in there and say, yeah, we're going to just help the Palestinian people. Jeez. You know, and let's understand something. Rebels are not just men. Soldiers are not just men anymore. They're women too. They're young children too. 14-year-old boy, 12-year-old girl. That region is not. This is not Kansas. Okay, so you don't know who the heck you're flying over into your country and calling a refugee. I'll tell you that right now. So I don't know what to say any more than that. It's not an easy thing. I don't see anybody letting those folks in unless they're allies with Hamas, and I hope the West doesn't lose their doggone mind and become the tree-loving, tree-hugging, loving individuals that they think they are. And this Pierre idiot Trudeau's son, Justin Trudeau, I hope he doesn't just decide that he wants to be a bleeding heart liberal and start flying in Palestinians, because you're going to be flying in Hamas agents, brother. You don't know who's who. You have no idea who you're going to be flying in. That region has to, unfortunately, fend for itself and allow those people to deal with their situation locally. That's my opinion, because you don't have enough intelligence. You don't have enough information to know who you're bringing into your country. And the brother said it yesterday on the spiel. This is awoken sleeper cells all over North America. Absolutely. So it's going to be quite an interesting thing. We got a lot of Palestinians here, so there's probably going to be some protests in Toronto starting that sentiment. They're going to be telling Trudeau to help, send aid, all these kind of things. And that dummy will do anything he thinks is good press, because he's a dummy. So we're going to see what happens. Hopefully he doesn't move too quickly and he just minds his business and lets that region handle its own politics, because we got quite an idiot sitting in Ottawa over here. Oh, wow. All right, folks. God bless you. I'm here at my practice. Love, peace, and hair grease. This is Del K. Brereton, The Real Spiel. Please share, please subscribe, please comment, please support the channel, and I hope everything is good with you wherever you are.